Today we're talking about one of the most important words in the English language. Hello, welcome back. I'm here today to talk to you about how you can, and believe me, you can learn to use the word though. This word is scary. Okay, everybody freaks out about this word because it's everywhere. You see though everywhere. You hear though everywhere. And I think to us Brazilians especially, it is very hard to begin to use this word because there are so many different translations. If you look at the translation list for though, you're going to be like, why? There are so many different ones, and when we have so many options for translation, I think we just get really scared and reluctant towards that word. So I'm going to try and make though a little bit easier for you today. We're going to start simple. Remember, when it's a word that is a problem to you, start simple. You don't need to understand everything now. You just need to understand one way to use it so that you can begin. Imagine this situation, okay? You live in London, and you will say to me, Patricia, I live in London too. Do you want to meet up? And I'll say, that's lovely. I live in Brazil though. What I'm saying is, there is a challenge in our situation. You live in England, I live in Brazil. You thought I lived in London too, which is why you suggested that we met up, okay? However, there is a challenge in our situation because we live in different countries. So how are we going to meet up? However, if the same situation happened, you asked me, Patricia, I live in London too. Do you want to meet up? And I said to you, that's lovely, but I live in Brazil. Can you see that there is a very close meaning when you compare but and though? The difference here is that but was in the middle and though came at the end. You'll probably notice that. But also, when I say, that's lovely, but I live in Brazil, but gives the idea of something that is more like an obstacle in the way, as opposed to a challenge. When you say though, it's much softer, which is why I say challenge, because it's almost like it's a soft thing to say. It's like, maybe we can do this next time I visit London. And when I say, but I live in Brazil, it's more like, this is an obstacle. I don't know what we can do about this. It's a firmer response, you see. But it is important for you to realize that they do sound very similar when you say sentences like this. However, similar is not the same. So you cannot say to me, okay, I'm just not going to use though. I'm going to use but all the time because I know but, it's easy. No, you cannot do that because they are actually different words and they work in a different way in your sentence. So there is no such thing as running away from a word because it's too hard. No. Instead, you're going to face it and you're going to start simple. Another very great way to use though is in the beginning of your sentence or beginning of your point within a sentence when there is another idea that you're showing and then you say though. So listen to this. It's actually very similar, if not the same, as although. The difference is though is a short version of although, okay? It's a shorter, much simpler word than although, but it's kind of the same thing in this situation. Maybe you'll say to me, though I live in London, I've never been on the London Eye. The London Eye is the big Ferris wheel in London, you know? So you say to me, though I live in London, I've never been on the London Eye. You've never been on it. Never been. Though you live in London, you've never been there. You see, there is like, you're saying to me, I live in London, that's a fact. And even though I live in London, I've never been on the London Eye. So, though I live in London, I've never been on the London Eye. I could say to you, though I'm a teacher, I don't know every grammar rule. I don't. I am a teacher, it's a fact. Maybe you would expect me to know every grammar rule, but I'm telling you, though I am a teacher, I don't know every grammar rule. You see how this works? And it does not have to be in the beginning of the sentence. It could be in the middle with a very similar meaning. Look, I tried calling you yesterday, though you didn't pick up. It's the same as although you didn't pick up. I tried calling you, fact. Though, very similar to but, you see, you didn't pick up. Do you see how a lot of the time but and though will work kind of interchangeably? But of course, remember, though gives a little bit of a softer tone to your sentence. And the last thing I want to say about though that I think will help you understand those so much more is it works very similar to the word anyway, like this, okay? You say to me, wanna grab a bite? Wanna grab a bite? It's me asking you, do you want to go get something to eat? Wanna grab a bite? And I'll say, I've just had something. Thanks though. It's the same as thanks anyway. Thanks though. And this you need to understand because you're gonna hear this everywhere all the time. And when you hear this, your brain is going to start looking for the translation of though in this sentence. So stop right there. It's just like saying anyway. You see, when you understand how to use though in those very simple ways, everything will start to make sense and you will eventually be a little bit more confident to start using though yourself. And that's what I want to see. Let me know in the comments down below if this video has helped you, if you would like more videos about this with more examples and more ways to use though. I'll see you next week. Thank you for being here.